Everyone has their own hangover cure. It might be a cooked breakfast, a barocca, or just staying in bed and calling in sick to work. But in the 1930s, there was a group of cocktails that were considered perfect for waking you up after a heavy night out. Today, I'm going to show you one of them. Let's make a corpse reviver. Now, you might already be familiar with one of the Corpse Reviver family of drinks. It's likely the Corpse Reviver No. 2. This is the most popular one, it's the most ordered, it's the one that I see most commonly in bars. And if you've tried one, there's a good chance that's the one you've tried. It's basically a jazzed up gin sour, a little bit of Lillet, a little bit of orange liqueur, and some absinthe. It's a delicious drink, but today, I'm going to show you the Corpse Reviver No. 1. Now, if you look at the list of ingredients and you try both of these drinks, they're not particularly alike, but they do have similar origins. They were both featured in the 1930 cocktail book, the Savoy Cocktail Book, written by Harry Craddock. They were both called Corpse Revivers No. 1 and No. 2, and they were both designed to be drank in the morning after a heavy night of drinking to perk you up a little bit. The Corpse Reviver we'll be making today even had a footnote in the cocktail book that said it was to be taken before 11 AM or whenever steam or energy was needed. And presumably to deter anyone from drinking these from 11 AM through the rest of the day, under the Corpse Reviver No. 2, Harry Craddock wrote, 4 of these taken in swift succession will unrevive the corpse again. I actually got the quote right. Now, this idea of a Corpse Reviver drink being a cocktail that you have in the morning to perk you up and to get you started with your day weren't a new concept in 1930. But it was really this Corpse Reviver No. 1 and Corpse Reviver No. 2 from Harry Craddock that have stood the test of time and that we still enjoy and still make today. So maybe one day down the line I'll cover the Corpse Reviver No. 2 and maybe some of the more forgotten recipes, but for today, let's get cracking on making a Corpse Reviver No. 1. This drink is really easy to make and you only need 3 ingredients. The ingredients you're going to need are cognac, apple cider brandy, and a sweet vermouth. Because we're using so few ingredients, it's so important that you use good quality spirits. I'm not saying you have to get the most expensive, top shelf, premium ones you can, but pick something that you enjoy drinking on its own. Pick something that you like the flavour of. Because really, if you mix with spirits you don't like, it's not going to get any better in your cocktail. For me, I'm going to be using Remy Martin VSOP Cognac, Somerset 3-year-old Cider Brandy, and Cocello Sweet Vermouth. These are 3 brands I really love, so I'm confident they're going to work really well in this cocktail. So let's get started. As well as being simple ingredients, it's a really simple recipe. We're going to use 2 parts of cognac, 2 parts of apple cider brandy, and 1 part of sweet vermouth. We'll start off with 30 milliliters of our cognac. For us, that's Remy Martin, but use whichever your favorite is. So next up, like I said, 2 parts cognac, 2 parts apple cider brandy. So we're going to do 30 ml of our apple cider brandy. You can use a Calvados. I'm using an English apple cider brandy, but pick one you like. I'm sure Applejack would work as well. It's not something I've really mixed with that much. And finally, our sweet vermouth. There's lots of different options you can pick here and it's really personal preference. I think this is a drink where Antica formula works really well. Cocky di Torino is always a really good choice, but I'm enjoying Cocello at the minute. I think it's a great product. So 15 milliliters. And that's all our ingredients. So now we're going to ice up our mixing glass, give it a stir, and then we're ready to serve. Well, tongs would look cool, but they're really inefficient. So as always, there's not really a guide on how long you should stir drinks for. The best thing to do is as you're stirring, have a taste. So since I'm just making this for myself, I can have a little, need a little bit more. If you're making it for other people, maybe use a little straw or pour a bit into a shot glass and taste it. That is perfect. So this drink, we're going to be serving straight up. So we want to get it nice and cold and perfectly diluted because it's not going to be on ice. It's not going to be diluting anymore in the glass. Ideally, you want to use a chilled glass for this one. I haven't, but don't always do what I do. The final touch for this drink is some Maraschino Cherries. I actually realised, because I recently moved house, I don't have any at the minute, and the only thing I could find in my local supermarket were these strange red jarred ones. Probably not worth adding, but for the video, we'll pop them in. Again, pick the brand of cocktail cherries you like the most. Luxardo are classic, Jack Rudy are really great. Plenty of other brands out there that are really good. And there we have it. We've made a Corpse Reviver No. 1, a perfect drink to wake you up in the morning after a heavy night out. It's 6:30 in the evening here, so not the ideal time to be drinking this, but we'll give it a try anyway. Good, isn't it? It's a great drink. I mean, as you can imagine, it's essentially a brandy-based Manhattan without the bitters. It's really simple, but apple cider brandy is one of my favorite kind of underrated ingredients. Cognac is great to mix with, it really doesn't get enough love. So this drink is perfect. You've got that kind of crispness from the apple cider brandy. This one is a 3-year-old. I would probably recommend not using anything too old. I think having that big appley character to it really works. Yeah, it's great. I think you can really mix this drink up by using different vermouths. Something like Antica that is big, it's syrupy, it's got that real heavy vanilla note. It's going to bring a richer kind of body to it. But if you use a slightly lighter style of vermouth, it's going to make a lighter style of drink. I would love to have it with a proper maraschino cherry, just to have that little kind of pool of syrup you get at the bottom. I think that cherry note with the apple at the end is going to be perfect. These ones are really not doing it for me. I maybe wouldn't advise drinking it at 10 AM when you're hungover, but this is actually a great drink for kind of the end of the evening, a little bit of a nightcap, or if you're sat in, coming into the winter, perfect little cocktail. So there you have it, a Corpse Reviver #1. The lesser known and lesser loved member of the Corpse Reviver family, but one that I think is delicious in its own right, and I think more people should be making it. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, feel free to give it a like and hit subscribe if you want to see more cocktail and drinks content from me. Let me know in the comments if there's any drinks that you want to see me make, or if you do want to see me make the Corpse Reviver #2 as well. In the meantime, you can follow me on Instagram at todays_tipple, where I post new recipes and cocktails every day. Cheers.